don't know how to ever open anything, but anyway, welcome everyone to a short, hopefully kind of short-ish review of the Death of a Bachelor album. If I can keep the glare away from it, that'd be great. Yeah, I've already said stuff about this and how much I love it. It's great on digital, but on vinyl. How is it? Well, you've been asking the right questions, me from the past, because oh boy, does this have a lot of songs on it. It's got a whopping sum of, I think, 21, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right. 8 songs from Death of a Bachelor itself. The other 13, yeah, the other 13 being from, well, other parts of Panic at the Disco's music and stuff, including 2 covers, which are great. So, anyway, I'll be going through this. Let's get right into it. So, the cover, first of all, we have to go over that. As you can see, this is just Brendan Urie sitting at his piano having a good time with that cool, like, little, I like the same little drawings that they do. I like the font or drawings they've been doing for their albums as of late. This is actually their second live album. I think they did one in Chicago a long while back in the Fever days, which is like their first album. Anyway, this is from the Death of a Bachelor tour. I don't know exactly which show this is from, but it's from the one that they posted on YouTube. I know that, because it sounds the exact same. Has the exact same screaming fans in it. I would know because I had to deal with that, and that is one of the gripes of this album that I'm not a fan of. The mixing is less than average, because if I can hear people screaming, "I love you, Brendan," and I can't hear Brendan, then we got a problem, you know? But, this isn't about the mixing. This isn't about any of that. This is about the music itself. So, because I don't have more than 2 Panic at the Disco albums, I thought, I'll go through here, talk about all the songs, maybe do a shorter version for like the ones that are on Death of a Bachelor, because I've already done that as a review. So, well, let's get right into it. So first of all, I should probably explain the actual packaging here. It is in fact a double LP gatefold with a cool little picture in here. Quality of the vinyl is pretty something, pretty good. The one weird thing is that the sides are not A, B, C, and D. It's actually P exclamation point A, T, D, of course, for Panic at the Disco. But the fact that there's an A and a D, that kind of messes with me a little if I'm not paying attention to it. So yeah, the slide folders have pictures on one side. Ooh, that's actually from when he's being led through the crowd, singing Death of a Bachelor. It's got like all the credits on the back here. That's really neat. Wow. Huh. I haven't read half these things, honestly. Ooh, who did the merch? Nick Smith, thank you so much. Anyway, yeah, the side looks neat. I really like the side here. That's just primary colors across here. Okay, so the lineup, the set list, if you will, for this album goes as such, with a short review with each one of them. Did I name this stream? Yeah, I did. Just want to make sure. Anyway, so the very first song, which is Don't Threaten Me With a Good Time, which is a great song to start off with, I think. Well, the live edition is a little odd. It starts off with like right before they come out and start playing, because they don't like introduce themselves or anything. They just literally come out and start singing and playing their instruments and stuff. And it's really neat. But it's a little weird because there's like a little like cinematic of Brendan, at least I think it's Brendan, walking around with a flashlight, and it cuts off and they start playing. And I'm like, what was that? but they play the entirety of that right before the song starts. So while it is an odd opener to the album, it was live, so there was stuff leading up to it, so I can understand that. But I've already talked about the song on the Death of a Bachelor album review, so I'm sure you already know about the weird sample. That was a weird song to sample, but boy did it work. LA Devotee, that's the next song. We've already talked about that one. It was one of the lower points, I think, for the album, as many like to yell at me for. Whatever. But I'm happy they got that one out of the way pretty quickly. The first one for the finally, because this is like one of my favorite albums by them, they finally have some of Vices and Virtues representation here. I think like 2 songs off this album. Yeah, I think 2. Let's see here. Yeah, a whopping sum of no 3. A whopping sum of 3, and only 1 song from Pretty Odd. But anyway, the first song off Vices and Virtues is Ready to Go, which, well, that's like the most radio-friendly song off of there, I think. Just because it's got like the little, like, typical pop tropes you'd expect. Like the little, like the vocalizations as like something in between the chorus and the verse after the chorus is done. You know, it's all like the typical bubblegum pop, like sweet, very like typical, nice, with nothing really in it other than like fun themes. If that helps. I've heard a lot of people call their as they progress the album more. I've literally heard this more like a candy pop almost, like, and some people have said bubblegum, which I can understand because, you know, it's bubblegum and it pops. But anyway, that's me. But this is again, it's a concert. He's gonna play the like happiest songs, which is something that I felt was a little iffy, especially about Pretty Odd, because a lot of people like that album and they only play 1 song off of it. And I went back and looked at the interviews, and it's because all the other songs off Pretty Odd he thought were too slow. I beg to differ, but I'm sorry. Anyway, Golden Days, that's number 4. You guys already know how I feel about that song. I love that song. It's a really good song. Vegas Lights, that's from Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die, 2013. That was a good one. This, again, it's live, so you're gonna have to deal with a few people, like out in the crowd and their noises and stuff. But if anything, I didn't expect this song to be on their set list for the Death of a Bachelor tour. I feel like it was kind of just filler, but it was a good choice for filler, I must say. This is, again, it's your typical Panic at the Disco fare. It's catchy, it's fun, it's a song about, well, Vegas, typical Panic at the Disco. But, yeah, I mean, it's got like those pseudo-deep lyrics, sort of like they're trying to act deep, but they're really not, so it's like, you don't have to think about it too much, but just the act of thinking about it is, well, I mean, that applies almost every song, though. But, yeah, overall, I do like Vegas Lights. I think that's a good song. I think that's a pretty alright song, especially in the Death of a Bachelor tour. Okay, so the next one. The next one is the Fever You Can't Sweat Out medley. I need to look up what songs are in here, because there's like a bunch of them. I spelled medley wrong. Oh boy. Okay, what songs are in here? Can you just find that out for me? Nope, that's not helping. Maybe if I just look at the lyrics, I'll know. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Alright. Well, let's go right in here. Okay, so the very first song, oh my god, all these have the long titles. Okay, so I'm honestly happy that they did this, because other than that, I think they only do like 1 more song off of A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, and that is, what else? I write Sins Not Tragedies. But he starts off with, well, the album opener other than the album opener, which is called Introduction, which is weird. But the very first song, which is why is my Apple ID being used to sign in where is that? Like where is that? Sorry, guys. China. It's in China, and don't know how. Yeah, no, not letting you do that. Anyway, that was weird, to say the least. Okay. Anyway, back to this. I mean, as if you're gonna do a medley of an album that you're not gonna represent very well for the rest of a concert, then you gotta pick the best ones, you know? And those songs, in fact, are the only difference between Martyrdom and Suicide is press coverage, to Camisado, which I probably pronounced horribly wrong, to But It's Better If You Do, which is my favorite off the album. I'm sorry. And then it goes back to the very first song. So it's not too many songs, but it's like, it's the good ones. I feel like it could have fit, like, I don't know. What song am I trying to think of? London Beckons songs about money written by machines. I think that's what it's called. But that's like, it's like the third song in the album, but it's one of my favorites. So, I mean, I'm not surprised they didn't put it in because it's like one of the longer, weirder ones. But hey, it was the Fever era, and that was a weird time for Panic at the Disco. So, I mean, again, it was a good cut of the song. Just what can you expect from these guys anymore, you know? So, the very next song, we've already talked about this, Hallelujah, which is song number 7 in the what do you call it? Concert. I couldn't think of the word concert. But again, we've already talked about this one. I do like this one, especially for concerts. It's very anthemic, if that's a good word to use. And I love where this one goes because, like, in between, like, every few songs or something, they play like a little something as they're getting ready for the next one. But this one is my absolute favorite. I don't know what they did, but they take some random beat that they probably just found off the internet and put a sped up version of Somebody to Love by Queen over it, and then transfer it into the next song so flawlessly. And that next song is 9 in the Afternoon, which is the only song off of Pretty Odd in the tour. Yeah. But for the time that they give Pretty Odd, they make the most of it, because 9 in the Afternoon, it was like the only song they played on the radio from the album, which I understand, totally alright with that, but it's a crowd favorite, and I feel like he was obligated to play it. But I don't want to say that as someone who's like, oh, he has to play this one. But, like, no, I feel like that was, a lot of people like that album, and just giving it the slightest representation in a concert set list is a great idea, because if you're going to give it even the least bit, you want to give it the best bit, and I think they did. Song number 9, Miss Jackson. I would be surprised if you haven't heard this one already, because it's repetitive in the chorus, but that doesn't stop it from being an absolute bop. So, I believe the featured artist on this track is Lolo. It doesn't state that on here, but I know that's who it is. She only has one line at the very beginning and near the very end, right before the last chorus, and it's very short. I don't know why she's technically featured, but hey, I'm not going to question it, because this song, it's actually one of the longest in the set list, but only because of what they add to it, because there's like this weird thing in between Miss Jackson and This Is Gospel, which, after listening to the entire album, like from front to back, like all one song, next song, next song, next song, next song, next song, it was really weird, because I saw it later on, like I saw like what it went on, and then I connected the sounds to it, and I'm like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now. So pretty much what happened between Miss Jackson and This Is Gospel, um, is Brendan was led off stage. They show like a little clip of, at least I think that's what this one is. They show a little clip of him being like abducted by cult members, including the likes of Pete Wentz. Yeah, I was just as confused as you are, but hey, I mean, I'll take it. If I can see a crossover between my boys, I'll take it. But anyway, this leads right into the culmination of, well, pretty close to the culmination of everything that is the Death of a Bachelor tour, and that is the live piano version of This Is Gospel. That's right, you've been waiting for it. You couldn't find it on iTunes. You got to get the live version with all like the entire population of a small country screaming Brendan's name. But I mean, don't get me wrong. For like the ability to legitimately have the piano version of This Is Gospel, not just download it off like YouTube or something, which Brendan has stated he's okay with, which good for him for standing up to the label and saying that. That I appreciate that. I mean, I used a little bit of Death of a Bachelor in my merch reveal, and I posted it. As soon as I posted it, I got a copyright claim on it, but I went into like the copyright thing and it said, oh hey, they can put ads on this, but it's not like it's going to take away like any of your views or anything. Like they can put ads on it, but that's really all they can do, and they can make money off the ads. But like if any of these become monetized, I don't get money from that one, which is totally cool because like I'm not even making any at this point, but that could change. Merch, please buy it. Anyway, so piano version of This Is Gospel. I mean, this entire album so far, there have been random high notes that were extremely well placed and well thought out by Brendan. And if there's two good places to show it, it's the beginning, the middle, and the end. And boy, does he do it. Because This Is Gospel is, first of all, one of my favorite live renditions of anything by them, because they always do something special for it. That is in fact where the album cover comes in. Brendan was hoisted 50 feet in the air on a piano bench with his piano covered in glitter while playing the piano version of This Is Gospel. If that's not Panic at the Disco, I don't know what is. And after that's over, he gets back down, he talks a little bit, just casual banter. And then you hear the beginning of Death of a Bachelor start playing, and you remember how I said there's like that small country, like screaming his name? Oh, it gets louder during Death of a Bachelor, because if you saw on the gatefold on the sleeve here, he walks through the crowd during Death of a Bachelor, only to be hugged, high-fived, taken photos with. What a cool dude. What a cool guy. But what can I say? It's Brendan Urie. And I appreciate the fact that he gets with his fans, but I do know that after he was on Broadway for Kinky Boots, he thought, okay, I'm not doing meet and greets anymore, and I totally respect that. Also, interesting news at the end of the video related to that. Anyway, so is Death of a Bachelor. You guys have heard it, and he does such a good job with it. I mean, when is he ever not? But anyway, very next song, The Ballad of Mona Lisa, another Vices and Virtues song, which, thank God they do another. But I was really hoping for Nearly Witches, but that's cool. I don't make the set lists. You go do what you want, Bebo. You do you. So, The Ballad of Mona Lisa is like, well, it exemplifies the aesthetic that Vices and Virtues was attempting to have, which was steampunk weirdness with Brendan Urie in it somehow. Needless to say, I loved it. Because, again, they choose the best songs off the older albums and play those, and now the newer albums are a little more lenient with. I noticed that towards the end. But, gosh dang. The guy can sing. And if I haven't said that already, then pretty much every song can exemplify that at some point or another, because there's always one vocal feature that's not the same as it is in the original song. Like, only the people at the concert, except for those who bought this, saw that. And that's really neat that he makes it different for every crowd, you know? But, yeah, moving on to the next song, which ironically has the word moving in it. This is Moving Out, also known as Anthony's Song by Billy Joel, as covered by Brendan Urie. Yeah, Billy Joel covered by Brendan Urie, as if he didn't already do that once at Billy Joel's awards ceremony, where he did the song. I think he did Big Shot, but I'm not 100% sure. But whatever that was good. And whatever this is really good, because as a fan of Billy Joel and a fan of Panic at the Disco, and if you listen to the video, and I think also this, if you listen to both the video and the song right before this in the album, because they cut out the dialogue for some reason, you can hear that he has like a little story about like, oh, my parents always used to play Billy Joel as we were cleaning the house and stuff, and he would help clean up, and like just his stories, like just the fact that he's able to connect with so many people. Like, look, every single one of those people there paid to see this one guy right there, and everyone else in the band. But who are we kidding? But I do like their new bassist. I do love their new bassist. Their new bassist is awesome. As a bass player, I know these things. I've only been playing for a few months. I'm so sorry. Also, my computer brightness is down. I need to change that. Why did that go down? That's weird. Anyway. Next song. Okay, Emperor's New Clothes, already gone over that. You guys know how that sounds. It's like the cool, like, somewhere in between, like, Brendan Urie trying to, like, half rap. I'm kidding. That's not even close to what it sounds like. It just sounds like Brendan Urie being extremely theatrical, which, well, it's Brendan Urie. So, again, what were we expecting? I feel like half the things I'm saying in this episode are, what were we expecting from this man? What were we expecting? Nicotine, that's a song I haven't gone over yet. That's number 15. This was actually the first song I heard off of Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die, and let me tell you something. This was an odd choice for a concert. I mean, a lot of people liked it, as judging by the amount of cheering I heard after the song was over, because again, this is a live album, if you haven't been paying attention. But this song in specific, again, it's one of the filler songs that's well picked, kind of like Vegas Lights, because again, as I said, as they progress forwards in like how many, well, this would be forwards for you guys in terms of reading, but anyway. When they pick songs from the newer albums, they're a lot more lenient, but the leniency is welcome, in my opinion. Again, next song, we've talked about Crazy Equals Genius. It sounds like old Panic at the Disco. We expected old Panic in the new album, and boy, do we get it. And I think we're getting Patrick Stump's solo album in the new one for some reason. It already sounds like his solo album. Anyway, next song, sadly, the last song off of Vices and Virtues, which is Let's Kill Tonight, which is so very close to Hurricane that it's almost scary in terms of lyrical content. I just love the aesthetic of Vices and Virtues, because it's like, some parts of the song are fast, some parts are slow, and like some are like in the middle, and it all works really well together. And I love when something works well, because that means it sounds good. And when it sounds good, that means that the person who's talking about it likes it. It's as easy as that. And I feel like this song is a good example of their ability to control both their sound and their time. And especially doing that live is a huge challenge. But let's get into the next song before I explode. The very next song is Girls, Girls, Boys, which, if you don't know, is the extremely high moment for this concert. Um, it's just so good. It's just so good every single time. This is the one song that is extremely consistent, purely because of how Brendan knows it relates to the fan base. And if you know a smidge about them, then I'm sure you could go watch the video for it and catch this wonderful little display here, which was so cool. So cool. I love the things they're able to do now with this kind of stuff because it's like so many people in the same room. And if you listen to both the album version and the video, you can just hear like how excited people are, and I love that. I mean, even though it's a live album and the mixing was a little off in terms of being able to hear people too much instead of hearing our Lord and Savior Brendan, because he is not a person. He was brought from like space or something to save us. Probably not. But anyway, there's like what 3 songs left? Yeah. Bohemian Rhapsody. Again, this is something that was made for the Suicide Squad soundtrack. I feel like I talked about this once. I feel like I talked about the fact that they did Bohemian Rhapsody for that, but I may not have, so I'll still go over it. And if this isn't the most true to the source material cover of this song, find me one that's more true to the source material that's live with this band's history. I doubt you'll find something, because this is something special, because if someone is able to emulate, well, maybe not emulate perfectly, but if someone is able to emulate the vocal talents of Freddie Mercury, of all people, then they have a good amount of talent, I'd say, because, well, Freddie Mercury had a lot of talent, so leave that where it is. Number 20, Irate Sons on Tragedies. It's their classic. Brendan hates it, but he still plays it anyway because he knows everyone else loves it. But I mean, it is in fact a song. It is a song, and it is a song that I'm sure you probably heard on the radio back in like the early to mid 2000s. Because if it wasn't played on the radio, then, well, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, because that was when their career took off. Or at least, unless people found out about the rest of the album first. But again, it's a classic. It's good to end on this note. But oh wait, that's right, they don't end on that note because they're Panic at the Disco. And of course, there's a little monologue in between. It's really neat because he finds a poster of his face somewhere in the crowd and points it out. It's really neat. But again, it's Brendan Urie, and he's got to do all his special little vocal things. So the amount of high notes on this album are like up there. So the very last song, which you've already heard, it's the very first opening song of Death of a Bachelor. It is Victorious. And oh boy, is it an interesting way to end a concert, because you end a concert on such like a high note, like an extremely high note. Well, quite literally. I didn't think about that. But anyway, I feel like that was a really good way to end the concert. I mean, 21 songs, 21 full songs, and I don't know if, like, how much there was talking in between, but if I were there and there were 21 straight songs by them, I'm not gonna lie, these are most of the songs I would pick these songs for. If I were able to make the set list, I would pick most of these. I feel like that's a good mark of a concert. If it can make everyone happy, then, well, I think you've done your job as a performer. So anyway, that ends off, oh, wrong side. This ends off the Panic at the Disco, All My Friends Were Glorious, Death of a Bachelor Tour live album. So, as I promised, I'll be giving some important news. Not about the merch, but about what's going on soon. Soon as in not very soon, but soon in terms of a relative time, because there's a lot of time. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that conversation. I'm going to see Panic at the Disco in July. And it's going to be at the some arena in Baltimore. I think it used to be called the Baltimore Arena, but now they changed the name to be like some other brand or something, like convenience store or something, but whatever. But yeah, if you end up going, let me know, because we can sit together, I guess. But and then eventually I'm gonna see Fall Out Boy in September. But yeah, I'm pretty excited because if they do anything close to this, and this was most of the reason why I did this album, it's because I was super excited to go, and I'm like, I may as well look at how they are live usually before I go and see them live usually. Wait, I'm sorry, that didn't make any sense. Anyway, that has been Death of a Bachelor live tour album. Wonderful. Panic at the Disco, All My Friends Are Glorious, Death of a Bachelor tour live album. On vinyl, of course. Oh, speaking of which, I need to show you guys the actual vinyl, don't I? See? Oh, yeah, that's me. See, yeah, look, it's got like a little P exclamation point. And it's just got all those on the different sides for each of the letters in PATD, which is, their acronym. So anyway, thank you all again, everyone. It's been a fun 31 minutes and 48 seconds and counting. Yeah, I think I said that right. But anyway, I'll see you guys later for merch information because I'm ordering the pins very, very soon. So if anyone's interested, again, let me know at my email. You guys have my email. It's literally just my channel name without the exclamation point, no spaces, @gmail.com. So finalshow@gmail.com. Message me for information about pricing and shipping info if you need me to do that, which I doubt. I don't know where half my subscribers live because I don't know half my subscribers because I have 8 of them and only 2 of them have set their subscriptions to public. But that's cool. It's just, I know a few people, like personally. So hi, if you're out there. Anyway, thank you all again for coming. This has been Panic at the Disco, All My Friends Are Glorious, Death of a Bachelor Tour live album. The end. I think. Unless I have anything else to say. I should probably think about that before I... Yeah, no, I think we're good. So, anyway, I'll see you guys later for either an album review or merch information. As always, message me for album requests, info, pricing, shipping, whatever you need. Because I'll be here. So, anyway, goodbye, everyone. I shall see you whenever else I need to do something for you guys. So, see you.